Looking for dividend income you can count on? Midstream energy companies offer toll booth-like business models that deliver stable, inflation-resistant cash flow year after year. In this post, we highlight two top picks, one powerhouse MLP and one No-K1 ETF that can add dependable income to your portfolio. There are businesses out there that don't need to be sexy to be sensational. You spend years and billions building them, and once they're running, they just keep cranking out cash like clockwork. I'm talking about infrastructure that's so critical it becomes indispensable and starts printing money. That's midstream energy in a nutshell. Pipelines, storage, export terminals, the boring but beautiful backbone of the global energy system. These businesses operate like toll roads, fee-based, inflation-protected, and largely insulated from the chaos of commodity price swings. Once you build the pipes, the checks just keep coming. This is exactly the kind of business model we love at Dimple Development's high upfront investment, low ongoing drama, steady dividends. Let's get into our two top picks in the space. Pick number 1, Energy Transfer, or ET, with a 6.9% yield. Energy Transfer. LP isn't just another midstream company, it's a juggernaut. With over 130,000 miles of pipelines stretching across 44 states and touching all the major U.S. basins, it's one of the most diversified portfolios in the industry. And it doesn't stop at domestic operations. ET's network connects to export terminals that serve over 80 countries and territories. A few other assets worth noting: Sunoco LP, ticker symbol SUN. Energy Transfer owns the general partner interest, incentive distribution rights, and about 21% of the units. Sunoco's network includes over 14,000 miles of pipeline and more than 100 terminals, supplying 7,400 branded fuel sites. Then there's Lake Charles LNG, an LNG import terminal leased out to a Shell subsidiary on a long-term contract. Revenue here is rock solid. USA Compression Partners, ticker symbol USAC. Energy Transfer owns the general partner interest in roughly 39% of the units. This business rents out critical natural gas compression services on fixed-fee contracts. Customers pay even when volumes dip. The numbers. Fiscal year 2024 adjusted EBITDA stands at $15.5 billion. Distributable cash flow, or DCF, is $8.4 billion. Capital expenditures are $6.1 billion. Payout to unit holders is $4.6 billion. The coverage ratio is 1.8 times. The current quarterly distribution is 32.5 cents per unit, which translates to a 6.8% yield. That's not a shaky speculative dividend. That's a well-oiled, fee-based machine kicking off billions in cold, hard cash. A grown-up midstream powerhouse, ET has been busy consolidating the midstream space and padding its moat. Enable Midstream, $7.2 billion 2021. Spindletop Storage, $325 million 2022. Lotus Midstream, $1.4 billion 2023. Crestwood Equity, $7.1 billion 2023. WTG Midstream, $3.25 billion 2024. Each of these deals was immediately accretive to cash flows, and it shows. Distributions have grown at a 21% compound annual growth rate over the past 4 years. Looking ahead to 2025, Energy Transfer expects $5 billion in growth capital expenditures. Adjusted EBITDA is projected to be between $16.1 and $16.5 billion. Over 90% of revenues are expected to be fee-based. Additionally, the company anticipates an improved credit rating, aiming for a BBB from both S&P and Fitch. Management eats its own cooking. Insiders and independent board members own over 10% of units, and Kelsey Warren has personally bought 61 million units since 2019. This isn't just a dividend, it's a fortress of cash flow. Pick number 2, EIPI ETF. 7.3% yield, no K1 headaches. Let's be honest, K1s are a buzzkill. Even if the tax benefits of MLPs are attractive, many investors, especially international ones, would rather not deal with the paperwork nightmare. That's where FT Energy Income Partners Enhanced Income ETF, or EIPI, comes in. Here's what makes EIP interesting. 102 holdings with deep exposure to names like ET, EPD, MPLX, KMI, NB, and OKE. It was launched in May 2024, following the merger of FEN and FEI. EIPI invests across MLPs, utilities, and midstream firms, all focused on fee-heavy, cash-generating assets. And importantly, it avoids the K1 completely by being structured as a traditional ETF. Boosted returns through covered calls. EIPI supercharges its yield by writing out-of-the-money covered calls on about 38% of its holdings. These options have short expiries, with an average of 38 days. They use strike prices approximately 8.3% above the market, which limits the chance of being called away. This strategy generates juicy premiums on top of dividends. This strategy lets the fund pay a monthly dividend of 12.5 cents per share, or an annualized 7.3% yield. That's more than ET and EPD, and without the tax filing hassle. EIPI even paid a large special distribution in December, thanks to active portfolio management gains. Bottom line, you want diversified midstream income without the K1? EIPI's your guy. If you're building an income portfolio for retirement, or just for peace of mind, Midstream Energy is one of the cleanest ways to get there. You're not betting on oil prices. You're not chasing speculative growth. You're buying into the infrastructure that makes the modern world work, with long-term contracts, stable cash flow, and inflation-resistant dividends. Energy Transfer gives you the direct exposure and tax-deferred benefits of an MLP. EIPI gives you broad exposure with a simpler tax setup, monthly income, and boosted returns through covered calls. Pick your flavor, or own both. Either way, this is the kind of dividend investing that works when the headlines don't. And at Dimple Developments, this is exactly the kind of investment that helps you sleep at night, while your income keeps rolling in. Whether you want the high-octane yield of ET or the simplicity of EIPI, don't let this cash flow opportunity pass you by. Hit subscribe, share this with a fellow investor, and start building your income stream today.